Alright, let's get back to our 3D profile plane. This is part 2. When I left off, I was just installing the, finishing up the elevator and the rudder. We had cut out our main fuselage pieces. Let's get into building this wing here. Alright, don't cut out your servo. Because we're going to make a cutout for your servo, but I wouldn't do that until you install the wing on the plane. So I'm going to jump right into cutting this out. I had already built one of these and flew it, and it's a great flyer. Alright, I'm just doing all straight cuts on the back of the wing here. The only angle cut is going to be at the front of the wing. That's a 45-degree angle cut. Get this right off here. So I'm going to take, this is the front of your wing here. We'll make the KF airfoils out of this piece here. Alright, but this is the front of the wing, and you want to cut a 45-degree angle toward the back. This right off here. I'll use that piece for my KF airfoils. I'll go ahead and trim off these ends. Alright, so there's our main wing. Now what I'll take and do is go ahead and cut off this KF airfoil off the plans. Go ahead and cut both of them off. You want to make sure you use the correct one on each side. So that'll be for the right side of the wing. Or actually, that's for the left. I'll go ahead and take both of them, cut them right off the plans. want to save this piece because we're going to need the ailerons off of it. Alright, there's our right side. So what I like to do is go ahead and just tape these right on your piece of foam board. See if I can get them both on here. Alright, now you can just go ahead and cut out your KF airfoils. Just following the marks. Go ahead and cut a 45-degree angle toward the back. This is the front of the wing here. You guys can trace these out if you want. I'm just lining it up on there and cutting them. Now on the back of the KF airfoil, it's just a straight cut, no 45-degree angle cut or nothing. Go ahead and do this other one. Sure I get it on the line. Go ahead and take this right off. Just gotta trim off this end, so I'm gonna lay my plans back on the foam board. Alright, there's our KF airfoils. Some of this scrap out of here. Alright, now the 45, you see I got the 45-degree angle there. You want that on the leading edge of your wing. You won't have to use a wing spar with this. The wing's really strong once you apply this KF airfoil. And when I apply these KF airfoils, I'll wait till I get the main wing slid in through the fuselage here. Once I get that slid in there, then you apply your KF airfoils. Don't try to put them on there before you get your main wing in. And I apply the KF airfoils with some 5-minute epoxy. So what I'm going to do is just trace these on here. That way you know where you got to apply the epoxy. Alright. Let's go ahead and on part 3 I'll go ahead and assemble all these pieces. Right now I'm just trying to get the main wing done with the ailerons here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off ailerons off the plans. And I'll just use one aileron, you don't have to cut off both. I'll just use it as like a mirror image on the other side. This will be our aileron here. But what I like to do, you guys, is I'll take and flip over my wing. Like this is the top of the wing. Just go ahead and flip it over. Line this up. I'm just going to go ahead and mark it on the wing. Do the same thing on the other side, just flip your plans over. Line it up with the wing. Now I'll take my ruler and just connect the dots here. Connect all the marks you made. Alright, now I'll just straight cut these two lines, the inside of the ailerons. I just get a straight cut. I'm going to take and I'm not going to cut these ailerons completely off. I'm going to leave the paper on the top side. That way it'll make the aileron where it don't come on and off. So what I'm going to do is just cut down through the foam board, but not all the way through. There you see I kept the paper on one side. And then what I like to do is just come back. I mean, you can use a ruler if you want. Yeah, I'm just going to eyeball it up. I'm going to cut a hinge line out of this. And now you can see it. Got a hinge there. And just like your rudder and your elevator, you want to take like a 1/16 off the inside so it doesn't rub on the plane. Go ahead and do that right now. So now it won't rub in that spot. And then I'll take and cut another 45 off this end. So there you see we got our aileron hinged. You can do this, you can do the same thing for your rudder and elevator if you'd like. I mean, everybody's got a different way of doing things. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for this other one. Just take and cut about halfway through the foam board, basically just scoring it. And I just break it free like that. Go ahead and take a 1/16 off this side. Come back, cut your 45. Same thing again. Alright, so there we got our ailerons all ready to go. You want to make sure you get a lot of up and down movement because it is a 3D plane. Now I'll wait to I'm not even going to do it on the video, but I'm going to epoxy my KF airfoils on the wing. I'll just do that off camera. Pretty simple. And like I said, don't epoxy them though until you get them installed on your fuselage. And this, sometimes this can be a little tricky. You don't really want to force it. Just working it on my airframe here. You want to try to kind of be gentle with it. You don't want to force it on there or end up bending your foam board. I'll go ahead and take this elevator off here. So as you can see, I'm just slowly working it on here. You want to get your wing nice and centered. I just line up the fuselage between the two KF airfoils. So I want to get it right on that mark. Go just a little more. That looks pretty good. I don't know if I have my tape measure down here. Yeah, right here. I just need a little bit more. I want to get this nice and perfect, you guys. Then you can take a tape measure and to make sure your wing is nice and square with the plane. I usually just go ahead and measure from any one point at the rear of the plane out to the tip of the wing, which I got 17 inches. Actually 17 and 1/16. Just check the other side. And that's right on 17 and 1/16 there. So I know my wing is nice and square with the main fuselage. We'll straighten out everything. When I go to hot glue this, I'll make sure I get everything nice and straight. Usually I'll hit it with a couple of hot glue spots. Just put a, line it up, put a little weld where you want it before you do your final hot glue. But since I got my wing on there now, you can see where the servo cutout is. I don't cut out that servo on the wing until I install the wing. And then I'll just go back, hit it with a pen in there, so you know right where it's going to be. And if you'd like, you can even come in here and with your X-Acto knife and go ahead and cut out for your servo. Just follow the fuselage as like a template. Just keep going around it till it gets all the way cut. And you can poke that thing out of there. So there's where our servo is going to mount down in here. Go ahead and clean it up a little bit. And I got the 9-gram servos that come with the kit. And they'll simply slide down through the top here. But I'm not that far yet, so I'm going to leave these out. Alright, so it's coming together. I'll even do a video on painting some of these pieces. I'm going to leave the whole bottom white, and I'll paint like that, the ailerons my KF airfoils, the elevator and the rudder. And you'll want to pull it apart and do your painting. You know, I'll take all this back apart, paint what I want. Like I gotta still paint the canopy on here black. I just wanted to do a quick assembly just to get everything pre-fit here. Of course, your battery's going to mount down here. We'll get to all that in a bit. I'll go ahead and install the electronics for you in another video. And like I said, you want to slide on, once you paint everything and you slide your wing back on, and you get ready for a final assembly, that's when you install your KF airfoils. So it'll be like that. And then you can take and mark out your KF airfoil too, to cut out for the servo. Like you can just eyeball that stuff up. Just make a few quick marks. So that's where you're going to cut out your KF airfoils for your servo to fit down in there. Alright, so we did the main fuselage pieces we cut out. Did our elevator and our rudder. And now our main wing with our KF airfoils. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to hit some clear tape across these hinge lines. And I'll also take and hit some little strips, maybe 4 of them across the back of each aileron. And that way I know they won't never come off. And for the rudder and the elevator, I'll do the same thing. I'm just going to clear tape them on here from the top and bottom. The top I usually put long strips. Then on the bottom I just put 4 connecting pieces. But alright, I'm going to go ahead and shoot some of this with some paint. Might assemble a little bit more. And then I'll get back into part 3. Alright, I'll get back with you in a bit. Over and out.